Hey, Paul, how's Bob White getting along?
What did you say, Stanley?
I was talking to Paul Mack uh, about a mutual friend. I was wondering how Bob White is getting along.
Can you hear me?
Now you can.
Now we hear you.
Okay. I haven't seen Bob White for about a month. Last time I saw him, he was okay.
Well, good.
He
Glad to hear it.
is getting old, but he is very active. He still drives his motor coach or the camper.
Oh,
going
really?
shop-
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm still driving, but it's
And he lives
limited.
alone, but I think both his neighbors are looking after him.
Oh, that's
In case
good.
he has any problem, they will notify his daughter who lives in Ramona.
Oh,
He has another son living in Northern California, I think.
yeah.
So he's all by himself, actually.
Yeah. It's good. Good. He's got neighbors. That's great.
Yeah, that's good. And then I have connection with his neighbor. he will probably call me in case there's any he needs any help.
Well, good. Yeah. Glad to hear it.
Sure. I'll send you a
Another
picture
time.
of the last time I saw him later.
Yeah. All right, good.
He's 95, I think 96 now.
What about his sister?
I don't know about his sister, but
Oh, okay.
I know his daughter and his two sons.
All right. Well, say hi for me if
Sure, I
you
will.
see him.
I will. I'll probably drop by maybe tomorrow or next week.
Yeah.
Morning, everybody.
Hey, Will. Good morning.
The beauty of Zoom. I woke up 5 minutes ago. I was up earlier and decided to go back and catch some Zooms, and I did.
You must have all your chores done, so you didn't have anything else to do.
I got a few things to do, but there's a
I
lot
was
of
going to
light-
say, don't
there's
you
a-
wish?
there's a lot of time left today.
Yep, you're right about that.
Let's see.
Well, at least you've got a quorum.
I just put something in the chat just for discussion later in the meeting, but it's Sharon comments about in-person meeting. And it's some information about how to book a room. And we'll just leave it there. If anybody wants to pick it up, they can copy it out of the chat window.
Stanley, can I ask you to speak a little louder? I don't get my new hearing aids until next week.
Well, I would ask others if they're having trouble hearing me also.
No problem.
No,
It's probably just me.
It sounds like it's just you unless somebody else chimes in and says
Yep.
my voice is down.
Yeah, but
Um,
I don't see anything in in the chat.
Oh, really? Oh, I'm sorry.
minor detail.
Okay, now I just changed that to everyone. Did that bring it up to other people?
No, not yet.
Nope.
Not yet.
I don't see anything in the chat.
I don't either.
Yeah, down at the bottom. Well, nope, Don't see anything, Stan.
Hank, do you see it?
What did you put there, Stanley?
Well, if I can get everybody to see it, I wouldn't have to explain it, but some hints on how to get library space.
Oh, don't see anything in the chat.
No, nothing there.
Oh,
Oh, here it comes.
There you go.
I had to press enter.
Minor detail.
Well, it is past the appointed hour, and we do have a quorum,
That
as
we do.
somebody pointed out. Not sure who that was. So, if there's no objections, I would like to open the board meeting on December 2023. Every time I say the year, I'm always amazed that it's that late in my in time. Anyway, call to order and agenda changes. Sharon Becca was sort of offered to see about a meeting at the San Diego Public Library if we wanted to have a in-person meeting. And she is not able to be here today, but she did suggest we put it on the agenda. If anyone would like to suggest that we put that on the agenda, or we could just leave it tabled. If anybody would like to propose that, I would put it on the agenda.
Well, shouldn't we
Right.
wait until she's here?
Well, that's what I'm suggesting, yes.
Yeah, I agree.
But the alternative is if somebody else is, interested in taking up the information provided in the chat window and proceed about doing a in-person meeting at the public library, I would be open to putting it on the agenda. All we're talking about now is putting it on the agenda. If anybody wants it on the agenda, we'll put it on the agenda. I
Sure
don't
is
see
quiet
any
around here.
enthusiasm for that, so I'm going to move on. to
I agree. I
Hank's
don't see a need to have it on
recommendation.
the agenda.
Hank's recommendation on the agenda for assistance in programming. Would Hank like to put that on the agenda someplace?
Yes, I would. Do I need
Okay.
to do anything other than say what it is?
Yeah, give us a header for the item under new business.
Okay, under new business, I'd like to put, you want just a summary?
Just a couple words, just so we can talk about it.
Require all senior computer group members to suggest at least one subject for a meeting per year.
Okay, it's added to item 10A.
Thank you, sir.
I got request all, and then I quit writing. Okay,
Yeah.
David, do you want to take roll of those attending? I know that Ray Slater called me and said he would not be able to attend. He had a conflict. Saul Schumer will also not be here. Family celebration. David, you want to run roll or make note or whatever? David? You want to do a roll for those attending or take roll?
I can give him a list later on. I I keep a
Well,
list.
it's on the agenda. A list of board members is already on the agenda. Okay, I got them checked off on mine.
Pardon me, I was talking, but I was muted, so I
Okay,
went,
I
went
count
through.
Stanley, David,
17.
Will, Willie, Hank, Miriam, Arlene, Jim, and Alice, all present. And
Only Ray and Saul are absent this time.
yes, very good. Both of them mentioned it in advance. Thank them all for doing that. Now, minutes of the previous meeting. I trust you all have them. I included them with this meeting announcement. Are there any adjustments?
I move we accept as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded by Alice, and I missed who seconded.
Will,
Will, okay. Okay, all those in favor, aye.
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 All right,
Opposed? Abstaining? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you all. President's report. So far, so good. I think we're providing a service and moving on. Will Wakely, administrative report. Do you have anything?
No, nothing to report at this time.
All right. Willie Stevenson, public relations.
Well, I just wanted to let you know that the new semester for continuing education enrollment opened up this last week. I've signed up for the standard technology classes, which I will be glad to promote our group in the classes like I've done for the last couple of semesters. So hopefully that'll get a couple more people at least aware of our existence. And the classes start, actually this spring semester starts in February, first week in February. That's all.
All right,
So,
thank you for that.
but Willie,
don't-
are there any of those classes that you could recommend to us as being worthwhile for people to attend?
Well, yeah, there's quite a few of them. I can send you a whole list of the classes if you want to peruse it, but
Well,
however
okay,
you'd like it to be.
Yeah, I was just thinking that perhaps during one of our regular meetings or something, we just say, okay, well, in fact, that might be a good thing just to send out to people is, okay, here's the list of things that are available, and you can say 3 words about something that says, okay, good for beginners or only for experts, or if you have an iPhone, use this one. If you have an Android, use that one, or something.
Yeah, I can either do that after the during the Q&A today, or set it up for a small program for Hank.
Stan, let me interject just a moment. We have a new member on here, Margot Lowe. She may not understand what's going on right now. Could you explain?
Margot Lowe. Margot, I presume you're interested in the Computer Society. This is the monthly board meeting. You're welcome to attend as a guest. And we will, as soon as we finish up, we'll go into Q&A and general discussions. You want to introduce yourself? I don't hear her, so I think we'll proceed. Thank you for bringing that to my attention, Will. All right, turn it over to Hank.
You might mention how long the board meeting will be for her.
Oh, at this rate, we should be through in 15 minutes.
I just want to comment before I say something about programs. I want to comment that for years, we have drifted smaller and smaller in numbers of members. until recently, when Willie started publicizing us in various places, I think we've stopped shrinking as much as we used to. And boy, is that welcome. Thanks, Willie.
Yeah, thank you, Willie.
On the subject of programs in general, I have no additional programs planned past this meeting, but I'll talk about how I'm going to try to fix that when we get down to new business. That's all.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Hank. Treasurer's report, Miriam? You're muted.
I have a very exciting treasurer's report for this month. Nothing happened, same as last month. So the bank balance remains at $4,927.07. That's it.
What about the AppSug dues? Did you wish
Yes,
some action on that?
what we can do is, perhaps to save time in the future, is give me permission to pay it when I receive it. Yes, we did get a bill from AppSug for our membership, and I think it's $50. And I will pay it if I'm given permission.
I move that we allow the treasurer to pay the AppSug bill when received.
Second.
It's a motion has been made by Will and seconded by Arlene. And I would like the treasurer to phrase that for the treasurer or the secretary to repeat the motion as presented so we know what we're voting on.
Yeah, the motion as I heard it was that we want to give permission to the treasurer to pay the AppSug dues bills when they arrive.
Right.
Thank
In
you.
perpetuity?
I
Yes,
think that's implied.
Yeah, basically until rescinded.
It's
Okay.
been moved by Will and seconded, I believe, by Arlene. All those in favor of the motion, aye.
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 Opposed? I abstain. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Membership report, Will.
Yeah, a lot like Miriam, I have amazing announcement. Nothing has happened since last month. We are currently at 43 members with 10 life members included.
We need to make some kind of an announcement that dues are due again for the next year. We should start paying them at this point.
Good
Yeah.
point. I'll put out a email to the entire membership announcing that.
And I think in that announcement, you add in there that PayPal is a good option, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, thank you, Will. I had in the minutes old business Sharon Beckus. She's not present, and I just want to get a straw vote. Are people really interested in an in-person meeting? Or do you think the rank and file, aside from the board members, which is predominantly who is here, do you think there's an interest in that?
I don't think so. The last time we brought it up, there were very few that were interested.
Okay, well, we'll wait for her to show up next time. It seems to me, I've just been dealing with a lot of frustrating phone calls and being put on hold and scheduling things and trying to get things accomplished, that the process of the office space is a real challenge. Enough said. I think we need to move on.
So are we going to table that item until the next meeting?
Yes, until Sharon is present.
Okay, we table until.
Okay, new business. Hank's motion to require members to submit something once a year.
All members or board members?
I presumed he meant all members.
All
Hank,
members.
You'd like to take it from here?
And
Yeah.
if they don't, well, what sort of sanction are you considering?
Can I talk about this for a minute?
Yes, please.
You know that all you board members know that almost every board meeting, I beg and plead for someone to please give me a suggestion for a subject for Saturday morning meetings. And you can tell by the fact that we don't have a subject for next week's meeting because I'm just not getting very many suggestions. When I get a suggestion, I can almost always find something about that subject on YouTube or somewhere that that allows me to put it on the schedule. And it is, I think, those presentations which keep our organization interesting to our members. And it's like pulling teeth. So I propose, and I will turn this into a motion after giving everybody a chance to throw rocks at my idea. I propose that we make it a policy that every Seniors Computer Group member must propose a subject to the Vice President for Programs once a year. We have about 40 members. That means that we'll get almost a full set of weekly subjects every year.
I have an objection to that. Are you going to lose your membership if you don't do that?
No, there's not going to
Then
be
what's
any
the point?
punishment. The
Then
way
there's no point in it. I think that the letter that goes out to the membership should, again, when we ask for new members, to encourage them, perhaps Will could put something in that message that encourage people to submit ideas, but I don't think you can make it a requirement. Because otherwise, if there's a punishment, are they going to lose their membership if they don't do it?
Here's how I plan to handle that. I plan to put a spreadsheet together that will show every person in the organization, all members, and to show the subject that they have suggested and when they suggested it, and to quarterly publicize that as an attachment to the announcement email that comes out every Thursday.
So the punishment is embarrassment.
Yes.
I think there should be any consequences. I with our membership, they're here to get that information, and a lot of them don't have any, real ideas of what they want. I know it's a real challenge to get subjects, but
Well, let's put it this way, we can still collect that information, we can still publish it, and we can basically, do the, we would, for anyone that's not on the list, we would like to hear from them what they would like to find out about, because it's not so much that, because I think people are going to be worried that, okay, if I suggest a topic, I'm supposed to do something to make it happen. Whereas really what we want is, what things do people want to know about and understand? What are they confused about? I'm not sure that we can do more than basically tell them that, we're looking for your input.
sure, I think you could just say we would like to, when you ask for membership, we would like to request you to submit any ideas you have on subjects you'd like to have covered. Something
Yeah.
very casual, sort of.
Yeah, or even on the membership forum, it's optional, but
Right.
what things are you interested in?
Right.
There is a request for suggestions and things you're interested in every Thursday message.
That's right.
I would not support publishing that each week, though.
I think he said quarterly, but
No,
I
it's in
thought-
there. Every time he sends it out for the meeting notice, it asks for information.
oh, I meant the people that have the list of people that have and have not done
Oh,
things.
I agree with
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Yeah.
I understood he said that he was going to publish that each week.
No, I was going to publish it quarterly.
Quarterly. Thank you for correcting me.
I don't like the fact that it's published.
Is there
Also-
anyone who agrees with me?
Hank, I
Okay.
think you're in trouble.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm thinking,
done.
yeah, I think it would be off-putting. I think collecting the statistics would be fine. I think if you want to present it at the board meeting to the board and people that want to come to the board meeting get to see it,
What are you suggesting that I present at the board meeting?
just maybe it's the statistics, how many suggestions we've got, how many people haven't suggested yet.
Yeah. I would like to table this for future discussion. I think it's an important thing, and I wouldn't want to have it go down in flames today, but I think it's we can think about it and discuss it at future meetings.
You want to put that on the agenda for next time then? More discussions?
I have one comment I would like to make on this topic. I proposed a topic that is somewhat unrelated to computers, but I feel it's significant for seniors. And the topic is how I find value in Lumosity as a tracking tool for my mental acuity in the event that I start to feel that I am losing my mental acuity. And I find that is a very valuable tool in monitoring it. And I propose that I would do a demonstration of what I'm talking about. Since Hank did not mention it as a possibility for next week, I am presuming here that he felt that was not appropriate because it's not primarily computer or based.
Good grief, Stanley.
The same way.
I certainly am not neglecting that. I don't remember you proposing that as an idea. It sounds like a very interesting idea. Can you send it to me in writing, but in an email?
Well, okay, I'll look for it. Yeah.
You think you did that already?
Perhaps I was poorly expressed it, and I'm still poorly expressing it. And it's not a canned presentation. It's just walking through what I see in the data that Lumosity provides me and what I can learn about my mental acuity. And anyway, anyway.
No, I think it's a good idea. And because Stan, the thing is that's a computer program anyway. I mean, Lumosity's been around for a long time.
Yes, it has.
And so I think in a sense it is related.
Have any
Sure.
of you used Lumosity or using it now?
I have in the past. I'm not currently.
You know,
I
this
can-
is the seniors computer group, not just the computer group.
Right,
So
exactly.
by all means, something of interest to seniors is very welcome.
I agree.
Hank, I believe I sent you a suggestion for WordPress, which is a program that allows you to do personal,
Yes, you did, and I apparently lost it.
okay, I can send it again.
So my
maybe-
mental acuity.
I don't know if people are interested in it, but I
Okay.
do use WordPress and put out individual, what's the name of the blog? Oh, blogs. It's for blogging. If you want to send out blogs to people. I have done it, and I have probably, over 50 blogs or so on WordPress.
Well,
I
all
think
of a
it-
sudden, we now have 2 weeks worth of subjects that we didn't
Like
have
that.
before.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well, I
I
question whether we had them before, Hank. With all due respect, I feel that I did respond.
maybe
And
you
somehow it
did, but
got lost.
I do I remember Will's, but I don't remember yours. So
Okay,
maybe we ought to have something on mental acuity, because apparently I don't have enough.
In general, I think everyone can think of what programs do they use that gives them value for something.
Right.
And just say, okay, even if it's, here's what I use my notepad thing for to track, Christmas cards or something.
It doesn't have to be a big program, it can be something that we talk about for 5 minutes. But if we
Sure.
had several of them for an individual meeting, it would work.
Okay, what was the last one who said, what programs do I what?
What programs do I use and provide value for some task that, I care about?
Okay, that's 3. Gee, I gotta throw this rock out here in the board meeting more often. That rock has made a lot of ripples.
Well, yeah, but mission accomplished, or at least mostly.
Amen.
We could also have a session during each meeting where actually people can speak up about what David just talked about. And, it doesn't take more than a couple of minutes to describe a program that you really like and use a lot. It doesn't have to be a full presentation.
And in
okay,
fact, when
Yeah,
we
I can
come,
think of one right now. I could put together a program that would, and I would just announce it in the Thursday message. I could put together a program where I just go around to each of the people who are present at that meeting and say, what is the program that you use the most on your computer? And tell us why.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I think you could do that. Make that the whole presentation for one time.
Yeah.
a collecting data for Hank presentation.
There you go. Very good.
There you go, Hank. Ask and ye shall be given.
Yes, indeed. Thank you all.
okay,
I'm gonna
moving forward.
I'm going to put a gold foil around this rock that I threw into the pond and save it for another board meeting.
All right,
Okay.
moving forward on the agenda. Item 11, Director at Large comments. Ray Slater is absent. Arlene Way, do you have any observation?
I'm kind of sad. We had a death in the family. Our youngest granddaughter carried a baby to term. They went to the hospital for pre-check-in and there was no heartbeat.
Oh, boy.
That's very sad.
So I'm kind
Sorry
of
to
in
hear that.
now.
That's a tough one.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's too bad.
it's they're gonna do an autopsy, but we have no idea why. It didn't seem to be a complicated pregnancy in any way. So
You would want to figure out what happened.
And any prayers of support for Alana and Jeff would be appreciated.
Amen to that. Yes. Thank you, Arlene.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's. Jim Fagocci, do you have any observations?
Nothing at this time.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for being here. Alice King?
I just want to wish everybody a happy holiday because we won't be talking as a board until after the holidays, but appreciate what everybody does each month and each year as we go forward.
Yes, true. I guess for this age group, there's not really much purpose in saying be safe and stay sober. It'll probably be pretty safe and sober for us.
And enjoy the family and each day that you can.
Amen. Yes. All right. Next meeting, January 13th. I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Meeting
Second.
adjourned at 11:02 a.m. Over to
meeting,
Will
Sam.
and Hank for Q&A. Thank you all for being here and being in on time. You know what they say is, if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. If you're late, you're absent.
There you go. Thank you for starting on time.
All right, everyone. For those who, if there's anyone here who has not been here before, I think there is, this is the time when we have what we call Q&A, which really turns out to be people with either problems with their computer or something they have discovered about their computer that is either difficult or very interesting. They bring it up, and if it's a problem, hopefully someone else will have a solution. And if it's something interesting, we talk about it. So Q&A begins right now, and you state your cue by raising your hand, which you find down in under reactions. When if you click on reactions, one of the options is to raise your hand.
And Barbara Wilkinson
And
is.
Barbara Wilkinson has her hand up.
Hey, I'm first. Okay, last week I was questioning how to transfer or forward emails to one account, to a Gmail account, to get forwarded from Yahoo and so on. Anyway, I keep running into a message comes up that there's a pop-up blocker. How do I find the pop-up blocker so I can disable it?
It's in your browser. However, you're connecting to that account online. So when you're going into your Yahoo account through a browser program, there's a pop-up blocker in that. What browser are you using?
I'm using Chrome.
Okay. So in Chrome, we have to find the pop-up blocker and turn that off. Pop-ups have been a problem in the past, but that's a lot of things work is through pop-ups. So let me go over to here and go to settings.
See how I find it.
I think if we look under extensions, that's where the pop-up blockers. I have an ad block.
That's an add-on program. But within Chrome, there's a pop-up blocker.
I think it might be in privacy and security. Maybe. Review key privacy and security controls in Chrome.
So I'm. Pop-up blocker Chrome.
So yes, as Hank mentioned, you would go to, in Chrome, you click on settings and go down to privacy and security.
Mhm.
Then you go down to site settings. And the next option is pop-ups and redirects. And then you have the option, then you can go to pop-ups and redirections from this a particular site. So in other words, okay. When you see it comes up, it says pop-up blocked. It should show you in the address bar a box with a red X in it.
Okay,
So then when you click on that, it should give you the option to say allow or not. And that's if you're using the Chrome's pop-up blocker.
right.
If you're using somebody else's pop-up blocker, in general, they should show you some kind of message showing that they blocked that. And then that again would be, as David mentioned, in your extensions, if you're using another company's pop-up blocker.
Okay. Okay, I'll work through it, see how I make out.
You might try using the Edge browser and see if that comes up that way. Because Edge's settings are different. You may still see a pop-up blocker, but it's another way to try.
Okay,
And
okay,
there's
I'll try.
another thing buried under in Chrome. I've been wandering around in my own while you all have been listening to Ross. And there's a place that you can block third-party cookies. And I discovered that mine has a check in that box. Maybe that's would be considered a pop-up blocker.
No, but again, you can, if you go to a website that requires cookies, then you'll get a notice that way saying, if you want to use our website, you need to enable cookies.
Oh, okay.
But that's a different
Yeah,
message.
I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yes, before I forget, I wanted to welcome Margot Lowe and ask you how you found out about us, Margot. This is free. You don't need to be a member of Senior Computer Group. We would like to ask you to do that if you like it, but how did you happen to find out about our free Zoom session? I guess perhaps she's not hearing us. We'll ask again later. Thank you. Okay, Hank, I'm sorry. Stan, you don't have your hand up. Anybody else with Q&A questions?
No further hands?
I guess everybody knows how to run their computer.
There you go,
Yeah.
see? There you go.
Ross is up. Ross?
There you
I don't remember if I mentioned last week, but I purchased a new Google Pixel 8. I got a notice from Verizon that they were offering an $800 credit towards a Pixel 8 or Pixel 8 Pro. I chose the
You
Pixel.
did mention that.
Okay.
Well, that's okay. You can tell us again.
Well, it was whether or not to go with the Pro or the standard, and the Pro has some reviews saying there's bubbles showing up on the screen on the Pixel Pro. They don't affect operation, but there's bubbles. So I decided to go back with the less expensive foam. And so far it's been just fine. It worked very easy to get everything from the old phone to the new one. I use a password manager called Dash Lane. So it moved, all my programs moved across. And if it needed a password to reinitialize that particular application, then Dash Lane was able to supply it for me. As far as things being different in this phone, it's almost like I had just bought a replacement Pixel 5. Things seem to work very, very much the same. The one thing that I do use or find that's working nice for me is the facial recognition. So that when it does lock the phone after a few minutes of non-use, and I just put it up to my face and it says, okay, swipe up and let's go. I don't have to key in, but I could if I needed to. And sometimes you need to key in your code after a reboot for security updates. It wants to make sure that you're you. But other than that, it's been working great.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Ross.
Stanley?
If you want, I'll do that pitch right now on Lumosity.
I would rather hear it separately.
Can I schedule you? Or
Yeah.
is it not long enough?
Okay. Incidentally, Hank, I do not find my original message, but I got a second message when I said I had a conflict with, I think you had scheduled me for last Saturday. And I said I had a conflict and proposed that you hold me for a later time. But I can't find any other messages prior to that. So I'll wait for your schedule.
I'll schedule you right now for next week if you'll be ready then.
All right, I'll do it. I'll do something next week.
That's great. Thank
On
you.
Lumosity, yes.
Hey, Willie?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of related to I think what we're talking about with phones. I just got a notification from Google saying that they're going to require two-factor authentication starting, I think, December 14th or something like that. And I was kind of wondering if I don't usually use a cell phone for much. We're sort of like what Will was talking about last week. I use it for two-factor authentication. And my question, I guess, is can you use two different phone numbers for to be in either or authentication? So if I have two phones, two different numbers, can I use them both as a second factor? Ross, you're shaking your head
I'm
like
just waiting.
Sure.
I'm just waiting.
Okay.
Okay, so
Go for it.
all right. So I think the two-factor notification that you're speaking of, and you'd have to verify, or we can verify for sure, that's for getting into your Gmail account or your Google account, not specifically the phone. So, but yes,
That's the way I understand it. I mean, I got a message from Google. I got an email from Google saying you're going to require two-factor authentication. It used to be optional. I don't need it, but if they're going to require it, I have to put it onto something, whether it's a phone. So they say, well, you can use an email address, but the dilemma I have is if I use an email address from another Google phone, then I have to have a two-factor on that phone to get to the first factor, and it's a loop that I don't want to get into. So.
okay. So again, you should go back and check because I don't believe it has anything specifically to do accessing the phone. It has to do when you are accessing your Gmail account from a new location. That's when the second two-factor is required at that point. So if you're sitting on somebody else's computer on a different phone, that's when it's going to say, okay, we see your email address and we see your password. We're going to text the number that you set up in your Google account. Now, what you can do as far as two phone numbers, I don't know about that. I do see that when I go in and some of the authenticators that I use say, do you want to text this number or that number? Or do you want to send an email to, you can put in more than one email address in that particular authenticator. And I don't know for sure what Google is limiting you to. But I would kind of expect that it's going to be one phone number. But I do, like I said, I would use one this morning, and I don't remember which one it was for. It required that it says, okay, we need to authenticate you, and we can send a text message to either one of these two phone numbers that are on your account, or we can call one of those numbers as necessary. But that would be when you go to set up two-factor identification. You can do that. You can turn it on and off once you're in on your Google account. So I would say you could go in, set it up, and then if necessary, from your existing computer, from your existing browser, you should be able to go back in and turn it off if things are not working the way you want it to.
Yeah, I haven't actually tried anything yet because it just came yesterday, so I'll give it a shot.
But again, that's just so you can access your Gmail, not accessing your phone. It has
Oh,
nothing.
okay. The accessing that I'm talking about is Google Photos. It is my Google account. So I have 3 different accounts, 3 different phones, 3 different Gmail accounts, 3 different Google accounts, 3 different Google Photo accounts. So it's all just Google in general. So I understand what you're saying. I just can't. I can't use one phone to be the second factor authentication for the other phone if I can't get that second factor authentication on the second phone because I don't have a number to call. If I'm using the phone, I mean, I'm assuming that I don't have a phone. All I have is an email address, but I'll look into it.
Well, again, you're saying, okay, on phone number 1 is asking me to authenticate. Okay, so that's the phone number that you would use to authenticate, the one that is the phone that's in your hand, because that's where the text message is going to show up. And that will unlock the Google access to that device. Not all devices, just that device.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm not. I was trying to avoid having a phone at all. Okay, I just want to get to my Google account on any machine I want, and one of the options is to send an email to somebody else. And my son called me up the other day and he says, "Hey, you sent me your backup email. You want me to send you the code?" And he sent me the code to get into my Google account on my machine because he's my backup email.
Okay.
And I started thinking about it. And I said, well, I'd like to put it on my other email. I have 3 different email accounts, but I can't access the other email unless I eventually have to have a phone to get a text message or some kind of phone, I guess, text or call. Maybe I can do it on my landline. I don't know.
Again, if you're sending an authentication code to a different email address, say a Hotmail account or something, if you can access that Hotmail account, then you have the code that you can put in, and that can be from a computer. It does not have to be from a phone.
I know all I have is Gmail accounts. That's all I'm saying is when it gets into a loop where I can't send it to a Gmail account, then I can't open up my other Gmail account unless I have 2-factor on that one. So eventually I have to get outside the Google domain to do this process.
Okay. David is frantically waving his hand. David?
You're trying to get into access your Gmail, your Google account from a device. That device's phone number is what you would use to get to that information. If you don't want to use the phone in there, then yeah, you can just set up a Google account or another email account and then access that. But again, that's going to be for that particular device, not all the devices that you have.
Can I speak for a second?
Yeah, David.
Yeah. For Google has their own authenticator app on your phone, and that authenticator app goes and generates a 6-digit number every minute. And all you need to do is to use the number that is generated this minute from your phone and type that in, and that should get you access into your account. You're going to have to set up the Google Authenticator with your Google account stuff on there, but you do that once and then you don't need to get a text or an email or anything. You just look at your phone, look at the number, type it in. That's how Google knows that you have the number from your Authenticator app. And so you can have a look at how to use the Google Authenticator app, but there's no text messages that need to get to places. There's, once it's set up, it just generates a new 6-digit number every minute
On a phone.
on a phone.
And his question was, he was trying to get away from using a phone.
And then maybe maybe you can get to the Authenticator app through a browser or something. I don't know. It's designed to be used on a phone, though.
It's on the phone. And I have not seen where, and I'm not saying you can't, but I have the Google Authenticator and Microsoft Authenticator and 2 other authenticators on my phone that I use all the time, but I have not seen where you can set up your Gmail account to use the authenticator. I'm not saying that you can't, but I have not set, mine's all set up to 2-factor.
Okay, I think we've covered that subject pretty well.
You haven't covered it for me, Will, but that's okay. I can take it up later.
Okay.
Yeah, the point I was getting across is, if I don't have a cell phone, am I excluded from 2-factor authentication?
Yes.
So I'll work on it.
No.
No.
Well-
You can't use the authenticator if the authenticator is only on the phone. But 2-factor authentication, where they send text messages or they send emails to a different email account, you can do that. However, if all your accounts are Gmail and none of the accounts have ever got authenticated, then you can't get into any of the accounts to authenticate any other account, which is what Willie was saying.
And is your phone the access point that you're trying to get into the Google Photos, as you mentioned, and that is connected to the internet or is not connected to the internet?
Well, I'm excluding phones altogether. I use almost exclusively use my laptop for everything, for all Google stuff.
Okay.
I have a phone just because, for emergency stuff and for 2-factor authentication. The question would be is, if I'm either out of the area, I don't have coverage, or I don't have a signal, then what do you do? I mean, if I'm with my computer, but I can't get coverage, or I didn't pay my bill or something and the phone doesn't work, then I send it. Then I say, well, go to my backup guy, which is my son's email address. It goes to his email address. He calls me on the phone and says, Dad, here's the number. Or emails me that here's the number. I can't get to my email to check to see what the number is. He can't call me. I don't have a phone. He can't email me. So yesterday, WhatsApp texted me because he could, and I do have the phone. I have WhatsApp on my laptop. So it was just a circular dilemma that I didn't want to get caught into. As soon as Google said it's going to be required, I don't want it, but I can't help it. I'll work on it.
Yeah, maybe you and others can stay on afterward and discuss it further.
Now
if
you can
like.
close the
Yeah.
subject for me. Thanks.
Okay, thanks. Dan?
Yes, some of the accounts will let you use email address and send the code to your email address. But other ones require you to have a phone, and I don't use those accounts because I don't, I have a phone, but I don't usually use it for that. So it's a difficult situation, and they require authorization by a PIN number or whatever you want to call that thing, and they only allow you to get it on a cell phone, then, what do you do? Is right. But I have my credit union, and it says, how do you want us to send the code? By phone or by email? And I usually select email. They will send it over my landline phone, and I can get it over that, but it's easier to get it on the email because you just cut and paste, put it into the authenticator or whatever you want to call it there.
Authenticator, yeah. Is that it, Dan?
That's it.
Okay, I wanted to report that like some of the others, I only use a cell phone for 2-factor or emergency. But I happened to drop my phone on the concrete and it didn't survive. So it actually was going to cost more to put a new faceplate on it than it was going to cost for a new phone. I
Yep.
went to Track Phone, and I found that they had a Black Friday special for Galaxy A14 phones for $85, which is unbelievably low. And by the time you add all the taxes and everything in, it comes out to about $100. So I decided to buy two phones, one for myself, one for my wife. So we both had exactly the same phone, so we can, if we have problems, we can talk to each other about it. And went through the registration with absolutely no problems at all. Got all the data transferred from one phone to the other. And I'm on a $7 a month program. So I essentially have a cell phone for half of nothing, but I use it mainly for this two-factor authentication and for emergencies and for, you know, calls once in a while that I may have, but that's about it. So I just wanted to tell people that TrackPhone, if you're looking for a really low budget way to handle a cell phone, TrackPhone is one way to look at it. And just go to their website, which is trackphone.com. Okay, thank you.
Well, hey, Will, you might look at a protection cover, Frank, from Amazon for $10 to $20. Those help a lot for when you drop the phone because it buffers the edges.
I bought something off of Amazon, which is a rubber item that you put your phone into, and it has extended edges so that if I do drop it, it won't land on the screen.
Good.
But those work great. Okay, that's all I have. Dan Moore?
Yes, I use Track Phone, and you should check to see if you qualify for a free phone. They gave me a phone free because I've been a long time customer there. So you may be able to get a free phone from Track Phone.
Now you tell me.
Well, almost all the cell phone companies have a program to get you a low cost to free phone. The issue that you have to be aware is that that free is based upon you maintaining your account with them. If you terminate before that phone is paid off a 2 or 3 year program, you end up owing the amount left over. So on right now, my Verizon account shows that I have to pay $890 if I terminate early. So my free phone is free as long as I keep paying my monthly bill.
Good to
Well,
know.
my free phone is totally free. I've never paid anything for it, but it's locked to Track Phone, and I can't go to another vendor with it.
Right. Okay.
Stanley?
You're muted, Stan.
Sorry about that. I have a sync, a file sharing program, and I've been using it primarily with Walkabout, and I also use it for my own purposes. But I'm trying to add my son to it, and I ran into a roadblock because I could click on share this folder, and it says, okay, enter that person's name. And it doesn't say email, it wants a friendly name. So I'm puzzled by how I send an invitation to him to share a sync subfolder. Any help on that?
And that's not usually, again, like if it's asking you for a friendly name, then and you do next, it should say, hey, what's the email address for that person? Because they have to set up an account for that person to access your system. And I would assume that, again, if you continued on, then after you gave them the friendly name, then it will ask you for the email address, and then it will send out an invite.
Okay, but they said enter name. Anyway, I presumed if they meant friendly, and I did not presume they meant an email address, but I will try that and get back to you. Thank you very much for that tip.
Stan, what is that program you're talking about?
Who are you talking to?
You. I'm talking to you. Stanley, what is
Yeah.
the program you're talking about?
I wasn't talking about a phone. I
No,
was
a
talking about
program.
a file share program called Sync. I had made a
What,
change of
Stanley?
subject. I guess I didn't announce that, but I was talking about a file sharing program called Sync, SYNC. And it works great. I love it, but I just wanted to add somebody and share files with my son.
And
What
where
is a
did-
file sharing program?
Well, it's like Google Docs or Google Drive or Dropbox. Those are all examples of file sharing programs. Where, I don't know, Ross, do you want to give a better answer than that?
I think I understand now. It's a place where you can put files where other people can access them and you can control who has that access. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
Stan, why did you choose this program over, like you said, Google or one of the Gmail or one of those programs?
Frankly, because Saul recommended it, and I rely heavily on his expertise.
Good. Thanks. And is it a free program, by the way?
Yeah, within limits. I think it is. I'm not paying anything for it, and I don't think anybody else is, or I would have heard about it.
Okay. All right. Other people have any questions, comment? If not, I'll pass it back to Hank.
Okay, all. I want to thank you all for the lively discussion about my proposal, which was shot down, but fixed the problem anyway. I'm sitting here looking at the next 3 weeks subjects, which is wonderful. Thank you all very much. I will shut this all down unless there are anyone who wants to stay on here. Yes, Alice? Oh, you're just waving goodbye.
I would like to make a comment. I'd like to welcome Margot Lowe. We did not hear from her, but you're welcome to join our group, and glad to have you here.
Yes, I too would like to hear from Margot Lowe. I don't think I recognize that name as someone that I sent an invitation to this week. So I'm interested in how she found us and how she got on here.
I don't think she's Walkabouter. That name does not ring a bell with me from Walkabout.
Margot, can you unmute? Actually, you are unmuted. Can you tell us about how you discovered this site?
Maybe Margot does not have a microphone.
Could be.
I think it would show, muted. The other thing that can sometimes happen is if someone's using someone else's computer, they may appear as Margot, and that may be someone else that is there, and they're not responding because we're not their actual name.
Anyway, welcome, whomever Margot Lowe is. Hope to see you in future meetings every Saturday at 10:30.
In the Zoom, coming onto Zoom, there's a spot there where you can check your speaker and your microphone, and maybe those are turned down.
Yes, every time I join a group, I first log into Zoom, and then there you click on the star, and at that point it comes up and allows you to test your video and your audio.
Okay, all. We'll see you next week when Stanley will talk to us about mental acuity.
He will
Okay.
illuminate. He will illuminate us.
Okay.
Okay. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Have a
Okay.
happy Christmas.
Bye, Pat.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Happy
Bye-bye.
Christmas.
Along. Merry
And happy
Christmas.
Hanukkah too, yeah, that one too.